So Rainbow Brite is finally starting to use her Rainbow Spectrum powers in Rainbow Brite issue number 4, which happens to be a comic book series that I'm surprisingly liking a lot more than I thought. But first, let me talk about the other comics that I read this week, being that it is Wednesday and it's also comic book day.
I'm in love with a hero. I'm in love with the one who will...
Since I pretty much say this in just about every video anyway, I might as well go and say it in this one. Hello everyone out there, it is comic book day. Let me show you what comic books I got this week. First up is Detective Comics issue number 999. Only one more issue until we get to issue number 1000. I want to point out this is the conclusion to a storyline that really amounted to absolutely nothing. The reader was under the impression that not only had Alfred been attacked, but there had been someone very close to Batman who had been manipulating some things behind the scenes. But ultimately, this is one of those stories that you can completely forget about because it doesn't really feel as though it has any bearing whatsoever. The Fantastic Four issue number 7. The Fantastic Four and Dr. Doom and his new kind of sort of superhero named Victorious versus Galactus. It is great to not only have the Fantastic Four return back to the Marvel Universe, but seeing them fight one of their major foes is great. Obviously though, it's not that simple, and there's going to be a little twist at the end, being that Dr. Doom is involved. Buffy the Vampire Slayer from Boom Studios issue number 2. The storyline takes a lot of elements from the Buffy universe. It was established by the WB, later CW, and of course the Dark Horse comic books as well, but this goes into a different direction and a different storyline is taking place. Drusilla and Spike are both introduced in this issue, which is a huge turn, being that they didn't come in for a couple years after Buffy had already been established in Sunnydale in the series, and they are no less menacing. If anything, they're even more dangerous in this. One little side note that I'm interested in is that Xander in this universe isn't quite so happy-go-lucky. He has his own personal demons, not in the sense of a mythological sense, but more in a depression kind of way. And I'm wondering where this is going to end up leading. Shazam issue number 3. The Shazam kids are all in Magic Land, which is run by a magical being called King Kid, who happens to be very much under the lines of being an enemy to anyone who's over the age of 18. Unfortunately for Mary Marvel, who is turning 18, that means that she is now his enemy. One thing leads to another, and King Kid ends up attacking and kidnapping some of them, and they're all separated. This is an interesting premise and not what I would be expecting from the first storyline for this comic book series, but you know what? I am still interested in it. Heroes in Crisis issue number 6. Who is behind the murders of all of these C-lister superheroes? This issue does reveal who the killer is, but there is no actual explanation to why this person did it. I'm sure that'll be explained later on, and I don't want to reveal and spoil who it is, but it was something that I was kind of predicting. The Extremists, Semper Vigilo, issue number 1. This is part of the Age of X-Men storyline going on in Marvel Comics. In this alternate reality that is supposedly a utopia for mutants, there is no longer a need for love and procreation, which means that love is outlawed. Enter the Extremists. This team is composed of Jubilee, Northstar, Iceman, the Blob, Psylocke, and Moneta. It seems a bit weird to have both Northstar and Iceman being a part of this team since they're both gay men. I guess it doesn't really matter, being that the whole main Marvel universe is still going on and this is just an alternate universe, and this whole thing is probably going to be wiped to the side later on. Batman Beyond issue number 29. The original Joker versus Bruce Wayne and Terry McGinnis, and of course the new Robin. This cover of course is very misleading. With that being said, there is a conclusion to this story that again I wasn't really expecting. I feel as though it's a bit of a cheap ending, but still it is a good read. Finally, Rainbow Brite issue number 4 from Dynamite Comics. In this issue, Rainbow Brite, who has not been given that title officially, right now she's really just called Wisp, meets up with the character Red Flare, who is the guardian of the spectrum color of red. We get a lot of exposition by her sprite explaining the whole spectrum of lights in the different guardians, but more importantly, we're finally introduced to the character of Starlight, her horse. And like the original series, he can talk and he has a huge ego. All the characters are slowly being introduced in this series, and I'm loving the pace of it. It's not too fast, but we also have a bit of action and adventure taking place too. I don't know why I like it so much. I feel like it's just something more of a fun read, something you can enjoy without putting too much thought into it. I also like that Rainbow Brite can take on different types of costumes depending on the powers she's using. In this instance, she has the whole red spectrum going on, and I love the look of it. But anyways though, that's my comic load for this week. What did you guys read? Leave comments down below and let me know. With that, thank you guys for watching me in this video. Be sure to check out my Patreon site when you get a chance. Check out my social media sites, my websites, and everything else out there. Peace, love, namaste, and I'll see you guys later. Peace. The character of Cordelia is also officially introduced in this Buffy the Vampire Slayer issue, and I'm a huge Cordelia fan. I loved her in the Buffy series, but I loved her even more in the Angel series when she crossed over to it.